Today I wanted to show you my first ever sketchbook tour. This is from a sketchbook that I just filled up. I started it in January 2017 and it's now August and the end of August, and that's typical. It usually takes me about 6 months to fill one up, and could be longer if I'm doing another project outside of my sketchbook. And this book is a handbook sketchbook, and I love these sketchbooks. They are my favorite. I love the paper the most. So here's the first page. I don't know, I've never really thought about my first pages before, but this time I thought I would maybe try putting an index in, and I didn't get very far, so I probably won't do that again. And this is the first drawing. I had fun drawing this one. I used a lot of reference to get the bird right and the anatomy right on the little fairy, and I used a purple Copic multi-liner, I think lavender Copic multi-liner for the drawing. This page was a drawing that I started and it was so bad, so I ripped it out, and not very well either. Look at that. This is a drawing from a book that I read that I think it was Rebel Mechanics. It's a fun little steampunk story about a girl that is a nanny, and she also likes to write secret news literature for the rebels. It was fun. Here is a page of heads that I did, and looking at it makes me cringe, so we're gonna move on. Another one. I think when I get some ugly pages like that, it usually is because I'm forcing myself to draw something before waiting for inspiration, I think. This page I really like. I like this girl's attitude, and I don't know, even the placement on the spread. You can tell a big difference between this one and the ones that I just showed you. It's a lot prettier and nicer, and I think I just took more time with it, and it turned out much better. And I drew this with a red kohl erase pencil. So there we go. Here's another one I did with a red kohl erase pencil. This one I used some reference from Pinterest to get that, including the dress. And I love drawing hair. Here's another kind of mistake page. I think it was the beginning of some ideas. I drew it with ballpoint pen. I don't know. It's okay, I guess. I had fun drawing this night. I think I was watching a medieval night show on Netflix or something, and I remember that I hated it. I don't remember what it was. It was an older one from maybe the 50s, in Technicolor and stuff. These are notes and sketches from the conference that I go to and help plan. It's usually every February. Nikki Carmack was the art director that we had there speaking. She's also the art director that I work with on my picture books, and just some heads and stuff from my head, and the notes and things that I took while I was listening to the conference. If you guys are around in Utah the beginning of March or the end of February, look us up because it's a really good conference. I think this is more conference notes, and then this was an idea I got for, I think, my Comic-Con backdrop, but I don't know. Here's a really ugly drawing of Cat Noir. Whenever I try to draw fan art, it always turns out ugly, so I don't do it very often. This is just a sketch that I did to practice skin tones, and I like how it turned out. I did it with watercolor. As you can see, this paper takes the watercolor paint pretty well. I got pretty good, color vibrancy and stuff. This is a witch inspired by Macbeth. Some more ugly sketches that were sort of from my head that I don't like. Here's some robots. This one, he's just a cute robot talking to a girl. This one is another robot those were the 2 robots that I did for March of Robots on Instagram. And I didn't do more. I like drawing robots though. Here's just a random sketch. I don't know what this writing is. I think I just thought it looked good there with this, so I put it there. This is a fun little drawing that I did. This was one that was a little bit more spontaneous, but actually turned out good, unlike some of the other ones that you've seen. This one I had the idea of like a Marion the Librarian type character, and I don't really love how it turned out either. These are some sketches from my head. Actually, I think this was someone speaking in church and the rest were from my head. This was from some reference that I found on Pinterest. I wanted to draw Edwardian hairstyles like Anne of Green Gables. So that's what this one is. And there's a cat. Yep. And a nun praying. These are heads of people I saw in church, which you'll see a lot of because when I'm in church and I get kind of bored of listening, I'll pull my sketchbook out and just draw the people around me. This was me trying to stylize my cat into something good, and I don't think it really worked. It was definitely an experiment that failed. But it's my cat Muggy, and I was trying to capture her, and it didn't work. Ugh, that's ugly. These are blind contour character drawings. I was doing them based on looking at photographs, but doing a blind contour drawing and then trying to turn them into characters. It was a technique I saw in Steven Silver's character design book. Here's more of those. This one actually turned into a cool character. These I think are heads, church heads again. This was just trying to figure out a pose for this sketch. You can tell I took a little more time with this one. It turned out good. There's some things I like about it and things I don't like about it. And the ink on this, I used a green Copic multi-liner to get that. This one I really like a lot. I used some reference that I found on Pinterest to get the pose of the man and the fox, which I think in the reference it was actually a dog, but I changed it and just, gave some little doodads around him to help tell the story a little bit, and it was a fun one. These are heads of photographic reference from Pinterest. These are church heads. This is my friend Liz that I was sitting next to, and she saw me drawing and she pointed at herself, and I drew her, and that's pretty much how she looks. This is a mermaid that I started to do for Mermaid. I had the idea that she gathered up junk, but I didn't like it. I want to kind of go back to this, maybe try again. These were the chives in the garden, and I don't know, that must have just been from my head. This is one where I got these gray Copic multi-liners and I wanted to try them out, and then I didn't like them, so I ended up going over her with black so that she stood out more from the background. I think this drawing is okay. I like these ones. These are some fun little fairy characters that I drew from my head. You can tell the difference between these and these ones, and I think the main thing is just how much time I took and how I let inspiration come rather than trying to force it. I think that might be the difference. I'm going to experiment with the next sketchbook and see. Another little fairy character. Those were all drawn with blue Copic, coal erase pencils. The last unicorn. Here's some other fairy kind of sketches. These ones, actually kind of like them. I wasn't going for anything specific, just trying to be loose, and I think this worked the best. These not so much. A girl with a dragon, a Regency girl with a dragon. Actually, this idea has led to some other, I'm working on an illustration now with some Regency characters with dragons, so stay tuned for that. Okay, this was the beginning of a drawing. I actually took this sketch, photographed it with my iPad, and put it in Procreate and fixed it so that it wasn't ugly, and it turned out pretty good. This is the back of my house. I was using it to show my art students how to draw something like this from life. These were people at a soccer game, so I was working on getting that movement. You can kind of see, here's the goalie trying to block a goal. This person is reaching, lots of running and things like that. Oh, and a spectator. So I had fun doing that one. This one, I was at a conference and I got a little bored, and so I started turning these characters into Pride and Prejudice characters. So this is Mr. Darcy. She's tolerable, I suppose. She smiles too much. And this is Bingley. I cannot have you standing about in this stupid manner. That's obviously from the movie, but and then I drew some more. The chimney piece alone costs £400. Actually, I just rewatched the mini-series, and I think it was £800, but anyway, this one says, "What excellent boiled potatoes." That's from the 2005 version of Pride and Prejudice. This is Charlotte Lucas. I was never romantic, you know. I can find I can bear the loneliness very well. Anyway, here's another sketch from my backyard. We have this tree that is more like a weed, and it's ruining the fence, and I hate it, but it was fun to draw. This is also another sketch from the backyard. It's the grapevines. That one, both of these ones I think I did with my other art class to show them how to draw from life. These are my cats. Well, one of them, this looks like Drizzle. He's a little bit rounder. I think these turned out nice. He obviously moves around a lot. This is an idea I have for an illustration that I think I'll probably do in October if I can. And I don't know, there's a head. Oh, I think I drew him at a restaurant. And here's a picture of a lemon. This is totally random. Anyway, these sketches, I was working on some ideas and I turned it into this sketch of this girl shopping, which I think I like. Oh, this is ugly. This was another one that I think I forced without letting it come. So anyway, I think I had the idea. Unicorn petting zoo. I should probably make a nice picture of that idea. These are heads from Pinterest that I drew just to practice drawing heads, and these are things that I saw outside. Our cat Muggy, the neighbor's dog, and a quail that was hanging out in our yard. Here's a picture of a bored king. I had fun with this one, as you can tell, because it actually turned out good. This one is a sort of fawn girl. Yep, just drawn with brown, or I think it's brown Copic multi-liners, not sepia. I got the sepia ones and I didn't like the color as much as I liked the brown, but both of them are a little too warm. I think I want one that's like a little bit cooler but still brown. Anyway, here's a girl holding a lantern. I actually used reference from Outlander for this from Pinterest, and I thought it turned out too much like the reference, so I didn't ever finish it. Here's some more church heads. I think I drew these with ballpoint pen. I really like this one. I think it turned out really nice. There's a fairy with a leafy dress. Just kind of an odd character. Some more heads from my head. I like these ones a little bit better. I especially like that one. I feel like his shape is really fun, but overall, they're okay. Not that great. These are more head drawings from church. This is just a little, I don't even know what this is, but it came out of my head. And it's kind of cute. Here's a little fairy going for a stroll. This was also at church. I drew a head and then I was like, oh, I'm kind of bored of heads. So I started drawing fabric, and I think I'm going to do that more. It was fun to look at the way the things wrinkle, and I think it'll be useful to have that as a log in my head for later on. And then this is the next week at church, so you can tell like the 20th, the 27th, I didn't draw in here the whole week, except that was in my art class, again showing them how to draw something from life. It's a tube of paint, and then I drew these head sketches and these people sitting in chairs listening. And here's two fawns reading a book. I like this idea, but I don't really like how this sketch turned out, so maybe I'll use it later and turn it into something better. This was also a head from church, the person sitting in front of me. I thought she would make a good witch character, not because she looked mean. She looked very nice and pretty, but the shape of her chin and her nose was really fun, so I gave her a hat and a creepy collar. And then this sketch is the last sketch in there. It's actually not that done. Maybe I'll finish it later, but it's just okay. So that's the end. And then this back here, that's a blender and a vacuum I drew for my nephew. This was in April. We were at church, and then he drew this beautiful circly scribble things. And then this pocket back here, I have some cool business cards and postcards that I got again at the conference they went to in February. So anyway, I kept them in here. I'll probably leave them there for later reference. So there we go. That's the end of this sketchbook.